Well, welcome everybody to ASCP's Rxperience podcast. We are excited to have our two guests here from Northern Ohio. And I think Chad specifically handpicked them because we've been having a lot of Pittsburgh people on lately, and he was getting a little jealous. So he wanted to get some Ohio folks on here, and now we do. But these two lovely ladies here, Kelly and Kristen, are faculty members, and they spend their lives talking and advising and counseling and encouraging our next generation of pharmacy students. So it is so interesting. We've never had faculty on that's actually working directly with students. I think we've probably had some tenured faculty on, but nobody working directly with students. So, well, ladies, thank you for taking time. I know that you're just finished up your school year, so you're ready to start your summer, but thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
We're really excited to be here. We thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
I'll start off, Tom, by just apologizing for my dress in a way. You know, our podcast is informal, and normally I have a t-shirt on. Tom might be in a hoodie. You never know how Tom's gonna be wearing. But
often hats, you never know.
Today's a special day, and I'm gonna tie this into the guests. But today was the day that we had the markup hearing for ECAPS, which is Ensuring Community Access to Pharmacists, the test treat provider status legislation that exists. Actually has a new name. It's Main Street Pharmacy Access Act, I think, is the new name. I don't know why it needed a new name at the last minute, but it got a new name. But anyway, we attended the hearing today, and that's why I'm dressed this way. And it did get voted affirmatively out of Ways and Means Committee, which means it's now positioned to go into a health bill and be passed. And it literally is the language we've been looking for since I was a student in my BS degree in 1996, where we were talking about this elusive brass ring called provider status. So it's a super exciting day because it is a milestone day. It's not over, but it's tied to the physician fee schedule. So if the Congress decides not to give physicians an increase in fee, then our provider bill won't happen. But if they decide to give the physicians an increase in fee, then our provider bill will happen. And as we know, they always eventually get their increase in fee. So it's good news. But that's why I'm dressed up. I'm excited because the other thing that has never really happened across the university or college setting in pharmacies is good delivery of geriatrics or older adult medicine. It's always been, even at my alma mater in Cincinnati, it's always been sort of rolled into therapeutics. And if I didn't get some last minute elective rotation with Omnicare, I don't know that I would have known what long-term care was. Now, some programs obviously do it. We have the Lamy Center and the Pline Center, and they have, geriatric centers of excellence, but we don't do a great job. You guys do a great job. And as part of our senior Senate call, you presented to the senior Senate, which is our version of the Senate, a representative from each state, where we talk about what the priorities are for members and what the priorities are for ASCP. And you stole the show on that call. And I was like, they have to be on a podcast. Now I'm afraid. Now I'm afraid I'm entertaining them, and you're so good, you may become the podcast. You never know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if we have that much entertainment in us, but we're really happy to be here.
We're grateful too. We're
incredibly grateful.
We're so excited to talk about students and what we're doing with ASCP, not only with our own student chapter at Ohio Northern University, but with our amazing student ambassadors. And
we just love senior care.
We love
senior care
and involving students.
Yes, and seeing what they can do in that space. And I said earlier, all the best ideas and passion comes from students, in my humble opinion.
Wow.
I'm sure it comes from pharmacists too, but
well, let's start there. We usually are like, hey, what's your pharmacist origin story? And I think we should get to that for each of you, but maybe give the, hey, how did this start origin story? This collaboration, this student focus, the things that you guys are doing at Ohio Northern.
Yep. All right. So you're asking about our student involvement over our year our years at Ohio Northern University. So we have both been here for just a hair short of 20 years each.
Yep.
Yes. So we
Unbelievable.
started shortly. I know. Don't we look young?
Yes.
And so
We don't feel it.
we don't feel it.
No.
But yeah, we've been here just a hair short of 20 years each. And gosh, shortly, we've been serving as co-advisors to the ASCP student chapter here at Ohio Northern for a little over 12 years.
Yep.
Prior to that time, we advised many other student groups,
Yep.
But we found our home, and our home is ASCP.
It is.
Our student chapter.
Mhm.
And so yeah.
Yeah. So we've been, advising the students for, almost 12 years. And then this year, the current president, Rob Leffler, reached out to the two of us and asked us if we'd be interested in chairing the student and new practitioner launch work group. So Kelly and I,
We said yes.
we took advantage of that
Yes.
opportunity. We said yes. And we are so thankful we said yes. We've had such an amazing time networking with all of these pharmacists and these students and these residents around the country that I don't think I would have ever gotten to know.
I never would have met these students. And actually, it's been really fun. About 10 years ago, one of the launch members, Emily Piron, we'll shout her out here. We had actually come and presented a session with her at ASCP
in Dallas, Texas.
In Dallas, Texas, 10 years ago. And lo and behold, here she is again.
Yeah, so it's been wonderful.
It's a very small world out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we've loved it. So when we started to advise, I don't know if you want me to talk about our outreaches.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right.
Carry
we can
on.
talk about this all day. Do you have our props? We brought props for this.
Perfect.
So yeah, excellent. So when we first started advising, when we were asked by students to advise, we thought, okay, what are we going to do?
Out in the community.
Out in the community
For the seniors.
For the seniors.
Mhm.
At that time, I was serving as a hospice and palliative care consultant, more of like a telehealth kind of on-site hybrid type of role. And it wasn't really locally. I wasn't at my fantastic nursing home that I am now. And gosh, we had a student bring us a blanket that she had put together, and she had looked it up, and it was a fidget blanket.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't this exact one, but then this grew into an outreach. So here's just an example
of a project our students worked on for years.
For years. It probably took about 3 years to launch it, but we did clothing drives. We processed everything. We created to-go bags.
And we made
and
these
10
blankets.
points extra credit for my class for students to create quality blankets that we have not only given out individually, which we found a lot of places don't have individual blankets, and that's gross. And we needed that to happen. But a lot of places, these things can be expensive online. So we started shipping them like to Kansas, to Florida, all around Ohio. So we had hundreds that we were just shipping out.
And these blankets were for older adults that had Alzheimer's or dementia that maybe were fidgeting with their hands. So we had our students go to some of these facilities and sit down with the residents and
it really,
use these blankets.
And then honestly, our philosophy for any of the outreaches, and we could talk through the things we've done, the things we currently do, is we have them pull literature. So not only does it need to be fun, but it needs to have evidence behind it. What's the science? Why do fidget blankets work? Well, guess what? It engages all the senses minus eating. They shouldn't eat this. But we can do smells, we can do sounds, we can do textures and visual. And as those with dementia kind of age and changes happen in the neurons, the way they perceive their environment and overload can become overwhelming, hence the agitation. And so the first line therapy is non-farm. And so let's just kind of like engage them very intentionally in these sensory blankets.
Yeah,
And
so
it's not a permanent fix. It's like a before lunch fix.
yeah.
I think I could use one of those right now, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tom
I'm
needs
all
one.
About the
fidgeting,
fidget
so-
toys that our kids
Yeah.
use. This
Yeah.
isn't much different. Minus
Yeah.
our kids don't have dementia.
So Chad, this really was like the first like big
Yeah.
project we started. And then we just started to build other projects.
We really
from
did.
there.
Not even us, our students.
Our students,
The
yeah.
moment they found that they could have a passion, a creative interest, they pull the literature, they find the evidence, and then they generate this novel thing that they can own and develop and train and have scholarship, from papers to posters to CE presentations to podiums. Rinse and repeat multiple years, research papers. It really ignited a passion in our students, the ability to kind of combine all of this together. And That's what I said. We kind of make sure that it's our students driving this bus because that's what we found to be the secret sauce along the way.
Unbelievable. So how do they get?
Yeah.
How do you get a? I was today years old when I learned that you can't have your own blanket, or you don't generally have your own blanket in a nursing home. And as I think about my career, and I consulted for 20 years,
8 years old. Oh, dear.
I don't remember ever seeing like somebody with their own special blanket. I'm like, you're right.
It's gross. Yeah,
It's
no, we
gross.
do. It's gross. And I remember we walked in and there was one blanket at this place where we went to a couple places here, like especially memory care units and then kind of a general population. And yeah, they had like one blanket.
And another thing, Chad, is we would actually meet with like the staff
Yes,
to kind
we
of
would train.
personalize the blanket.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if somebody had an
Oh,
interest,
and
like
tractors.
there was
Tractor
an
pull.
individual that loved tractors,
Yes.
this older gentleman. So we got blanket material that had tractors on it. We kind
We
of
love the Buckeyes. We had somebody who loved
Yes.
horses.
So we kind
Yeah.
of made blankets that were very individualized for the
Yeah.
residents at these facilities, and the
personal.
students made the blankets.
They
We bought
did.
sewing machines.
Yes, we bought with funds. you
Yep.
know. Yeah, sewing machines, and then we would collaborate with the staff nursing, the social worker,
Yeah.
of the facility. She would meet with our students. She'd inspect our blankets to make sure they were
Yeah.
safe, and kind of debrief the students a little bit.
Mhm.
And honestly, what we found through not only is it just a really novel, impactful, wild idea that students will hopefully remember no matter what practice they go in to, because I had my whole class make it and for 10 points. But it will also, I lost my train of thought.
The non-pharmacologic,
Oh, yeah.
as pharmacists,
Sure.
we are so driven on medications and we know how
yes.
important
Yeah.
deprescribing and everything is.
Yes,
But non-pharmacologic
they have to
interventions
remember that that's
are
first.
just as important. So a lot
Yeah.
of our programs that we've developed in the community really have this non-pharmacologic spin on them
Yeah.
because I don't know. I feel like
They
sometimes
have to know that.
they got to know how important that is.
They're
as
going to be
well.
asked for an antipsychotic because somebody's restless and they need to remember this. And not
Yeah.
just the blanket, but all of our outreaches are centered around this non-farm theme,
Yeah.
non-drug theme. And a lot of times they also, not only is it a good impression to leave on students, but it becomes a conversation prop. So maybe they go in with a blanket, but then they don't really talk about the blanket, but they start talking about what's for lunch or what was the activity of the day or gosh, I love your sweater. And then it turns into almost like a conversation prompt or
Yeah.
starter. And that's also magic.
Yeah.
So how
Well,
many
we
of
always
these? How many of these
complain-
do you make?
Well, we made quite a bit. I'll be honest. We would collaborate.
We probably made
with
about over 200.
Yeah, I would say,
initially.
and this was over 10 years ago is when we started.
Yeah.
We've shifted and have done other things since, but we've made quite a bit of those blankets, partnered with many local resources as well as some national places around the country. We would ship them all over
Yeah.
to.
If somebody needed them and
we
we
would
met
make
them,
one.
we package it up.
Mhm.
We are very much about sharing. So
Yes.
if you want our design patterns, we can send them to you.
But
That's what we do.
we were always about sharing our ideas with everyone else at ASCP. So I know we've done, a poster at ASCP about the blankets.
We brought the blankets.
Yes, we had a
did.
publication in
Yeah,
your journal.
we
So
did.
we're always about sharing what we do so everybody else can
Well, yes.
also implement it. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Chad and I often complain about how pharmacy schools don't emphasize long-term care. And, we're all about geriatrics and, you guys are taking it even to another level where, I appreciate the non-pharmacological approach because even though we focus on dispensing medications, but it's really about the holistic care of that patients. And as a consultant pharmacist, they're always thinking about, how can I manage their drugs and how can I, de-prescribe and they
Yeah.
don't really get even the time at the nursing home to do anything other than just review the chart and kind of move on. And so I appreciate this more holistic view. You guys actually have a geriatrics module that you were
We
telling me
do.
earlier that you
We
have. Tell us a little bit
do.
about that.
Yeah, so we have a course here at Ohio Northern. We're a 0-6 program. So our first year students are already in pharmacy school, so 0 to 6. So our module is in the 5th year, and it's called the Pregnancy, pediatrics, and geriatrics module. So we do have an emphasis there on the third part of the module, and the two of us are the teachers.
We're the show.
in the geriatrics piece. And we were thrilled. This year, we added the 4Ms framework into the curriculum. So we had a whole hour designated to the 4Ms and what that framework was all about, which was fantastic. Abuse. We also incorporated elder abuse. We do a lot in those 2 weeks. We also have our geriatrics panel where we brought in the ASCP president, Rob Leffler, came to campus to meet our P5s.
Our regional director,
Drew Harmon, for the Midwest came in. So we also try to bring in ASCP leaders during that time of the module. So they also get to learn about ASCP, even if they aren't ASCP student members. So it's really important to us that we have our ASCP chapter, but during that module that is required for all of our students to go through, that they learn about consultant pharmacist as well as ASCP. So that is the time we do bring in our leaders from our organization to meet the students.
How did that get started? Did you guys start that? Did you come up with the idea?
The course has always been in the curriculum. I think this is where a lot of our future plans have kind of spawned from, is it's like a platform to reach students in a different way. So we reach students in our outreaches through ASCP. I have kind of a hands-on clinical course that I also teach with students. They enroll in the class. They get to spend 50 hours with me a semester, and we go out and we practice as student consultants, and I treat them just like consultants. They have to write the recommendation, present to the physicians, counsel their patients, monitor, and play with fidget blankets. And so, and go to bingo and all those things. Yeah. But then the module's always been there.
The module's been there. But I think as Kelly and I have become more involved with ASCP, and we met Rob a few years ago out in Colorado at your annual meeting in 2024. We just hit it off, and we invited him to ONU, and now we've built this relationship with him. Drew Harmon is our former student.
Yes, so we both had him.
He's a former student of ours, so he comes to campus every year. So we've really tried to center it around ASCP leadership during that geriatrics model, to really talk about consultant pharmacist, and also demonstrate how important leadership is in senior care.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and if you even want to go back further, about 10 years ago when the geriatric curriculum guide was out, I believe that's how your module was mapped. All those senior, so we actually mapped it to the geriatric curriculum guide.
Make sure we were
years ago.
I mean, it's only the largest population in the United States, and you think all pharmacy schools should mandate and require, but you guys are definitely blazing the trail there.
It is interesting. There are age-related topics in senior care that are required of all colleges of pharmacy. We have a checkbox and accreditation.
It's a toolkit.
It's actually called a toolkit that all colleges must teach, but it doesn't dictate how you teach them or the way in which you teach them. It just says geriatric syndromes must be taught. And so that's where I feel very fortunate to have the autonomy here, creative latitude, to kind of do it in the way that we feel best. And we feel supported in that, I would say.
We do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Have you ever made a blanket with a terrible towel from Pittsburgh?
We should.
Great idea, Chad.
Would you like one?
Yeah.
You talk about gross.
Yeah. I mean, the blankets
for
one thing.
She's really from Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, shoot.
Guys, grab the boxing
glove.
Even though she stepped backwards in life and living in Northern Ohio now, she actually was originally.
Now you're ratting them out here.
So Chad, the blankets were really the original non-pharmacologic intervention that we did years ago. But we also have shifted, because we always, again, try to have this student, focus and what their interests are. We currently now focus on Parkinson's disease with our ASCP student chapter. So we have partnered with a senior citizen center that is about 35 minutes away from Ada. And we have been delivering Rock
Steady
Steady
Boxing.
Boxing.
Oh, wow.
We have our students box now.
It's an evidence-based
I've heard of that,
neuroboxing
yeah.
platform.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so here are some gloves signed by all of
The
our
residents.
we
These are the
call them
res-
boxers
yeah.
and corner coaches.
Like
so the
the-
boxers are the individuals
Yep.
with Parkinson's, and corner coaches are either our students or a loved one. And so, our students go once a week,
Yep.
every Thursday, out to the Senior Citizen Center to participate in a set class.
Neuroboxing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. And it's
That's-
been lovely. I mean, they
Yeah.
love that
Yep.
event. They have so much
It's
fun.
the same seniors every week, so you
Mhm.
really develop relationships, and they send gifts.
Yeah. And again, it's that non-pharmacologic component. The boxing really has shown to help with Parkinson's disease. And again, it's evidence-based.
Yep.
There's literature out there and it's nationwide.
So
So
any student
Mhm.
chapter, we love sharing this because all you have to do is go to the network and find somebody
Yep.
who's a neuroboxer.
and your
and
chapter, your
Rxperience.
ASCP
Yep, and
chapter
connect with
can
them.
connect with them.
It's very easy.
Yep.
That is really cool.
It's way
Yeah.
cool.
Man, you guys are full of great ideas. What else?
Yeah, what else you got in that bag of yours there? Come on, pull out some more props.
Should I pull out the animals? No. We have robotic. We've done a lot in this
We
space
have.
without going too crazy again. We've done a lot in the falls prevention.
Falls prevention is also a big area.
I think
of
that's
ours.
a huge area that not only we do with our students, but we do it professionally with the
Yes.
state of Ohio and the Department of Health. We
Yeah.
have different health departments around the state of Ohio. We serve on various coalitions. We receive funding from them to launch programs as well. So we do that with our students, but we kind of do it even if they're not interested. We kind of do it ourselves as well.
Yeah.
I thought
but
you were
we-
going to bring out one of those big jumbo sumo wrestler suits for
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I
fall
didn't have any
prevention.
grab things, but
Yeah.
I've got some non-skid socks for you if you'd like.
Yeah. The falls prevention has been fun. We've done
Yeah.
a variety of things with falls prevention. We have a falls prevention bingo, and a lot of
Yeah.
the gifts we give away are the
The grabbers,
to help get items, the slippers and
pill boxes,
pill boxes,
night lights.
night lights.
Those are key.
Usually those are our prizes. We've gone to independent living facilities and actually have gone into the residents' homes and educated them on the home safety measures to take in their living spaces
From
as
the
well as
CDC checklist,
Mhm.
and
As
then the medication.
the medication
Yeah.
list. So we've done a variety of things with falls prevention over the years. It's
Yeah.
one of those things that's so important.
It's
and-
very easy to find.
And it's
a place
easy to
do it.
find information, from CDC and
Steady.
Steady online that is highly recommended when we do those programs.
I would imagine, and you guys don't have to support this by any statistics, but I would imagine a higher percentage of your students that graduate go directly into geriatrics and long-term care than anyone else.
Well, of course, we're very in tune to where they go if they stay in senior care, but actually ASCP just had one of our shining stars on rotation recently. And
They did.
we've had a couple students do an ASCP API
Yeah.
rotation. And we keep track of where they go. And
Yeah.
of course, we're happy when they go into senior care. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we all believe that's going to be the future, but it is interesting
is.
how limited
think it
most
is.
pharmacy students tell us that. And I was the same way. I didn't know what long-term care was when I graduated pharmacy school, and it's a real shame. But you guys are making a huge difference.
Now,
Oh, thank
now
you.
the question I get is, how do I get into it?
Yeah.
And that is sometimes a trickier question, I'll be honest, for me to answer, because it's not the easiest thing to get into sometimes. It's not like there's a million consultant jobs open. So I kind of have this, I don't want to say demand, but this interest, this very strong interest, I would say multiple times I have conversations of people shadowing me or coming to talk to me in my office about the career. How do I get into it? And so that's not a direct path. And sometimes I wish it was a little bit of an easier path to point somebody to.
I often though get, especially down south, as the population, geriatric population
you
is
go.
much stronger in Texas and Florida, they need consultant pharmacists. I mean, there's
Yeah,
just not
They
enough.
sure do.
So if they're willing to leave Ohio,
Right.
then I
Right.
think there is. But yeah, I think between someone like Chad and myself, we probably at least have a handful of people that own their own consulting companies that
Yes.
employ consultants, as Chad used to do. And I'm not saying there's a bunch of jobs out there, but there some areas they're kind of desperate for.
Yeah, there's
for
jobs.
consultants.
I think students, we've lost a little bit in the since the past of having an active job while you're in pharmacy school, even before pharmacy school, which can be difficult. It's not like you can, get a job in a long-term care pharmacy, super easy, but they're around. And I think our tact is start networking early. Take advantage of the fact that our student membership is $20 and you can go to any meeting for free, essentially. I mean, you can get a scholarship to annual meeting. That's where you're going to meet people. And when you meet people, that's when you get opportunity. And
that is 100% our advice. I always say the best way to enter the profession is to network, is to first join ASCP. Then we tell them about the free meetings. And we've had several students be able to attend the national meeting thanks to those scholarships.
And the regional.
So that's the number one thing we tell them. It is networking.
Yes. And another thing, Chad, is, in regards to networking, is what we love about ASCP is that any student member can join your committees.
And that's been huge.
I love that this year, because one of our charges has been to connect students with these committees. And I know in the monthly student update email we get every month, Tim is so great at encouraging students to get involved and join an ASCP committee, which we love that about ASCP, that students can network virtually on these meeting calls with all these fantastic consultants. So that is a really great, I think, opportunity that you guys do.
Turnout for that. I know it's been kind of a new initiative for us this year, but they're welcomed. And I have to give kudos to the committees too and the work groups, because the minute we connect them, they're welcomed with open arms.
Yes,
and
the students
lovely emails from the chairs and co-chairs.
So we really appreciate that.
That's awesome. I expect a giant legion of students at Columbus and Midwest, right?
I hope so. We're going to be there.
We're going to be there.
There'll be a lot of polar bears there.
We hope so.
Yes.
Sometimes our students come from all around the place, so to get them back in center. We hope they're there.
So if you have a student that actually wants to follow your career path, let's talk a little bit about how you guys got where you're at. What got you to get into academia and mentoring students?
Pharmacist origin stories. Here we go.
That's the origin stories.
Funny thing is, the two of us met during residency.
We did.
So we both completed our residency at The Ohio State University, and I finished there in 2007, and Kelly finished her program in 2008. So as I was leaving, she was coming in.
Ships crossing.
That's where it all started. And then I directly went into academia at Ohio Northern University.
And then I came up to visit the place and I saw her.
And I was like, Kelly!
And I fell in love here. I fell in love with this place.
We crossed the paths
and we're together again.
Yeah, so we had a job opening at the time.
We did, thankfully. And I did find that I loved it. Do you want to talk about since you were first?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I graduated with my PharmD from Ohio State, and then subsequently did a residency afterwards. And I was very drawn to end of life care, which now is like hospice and palliative care during rotations. There was not a significant, I would say, job market at the time, but I just was very drawn to it. And that is what my residency is in. And through that experience, we taught at the college. We precepted many students, and I loved the clinical practice. I did not know I was interested in teaching until I taught at the college, and I fell in love with it. I didn't expect to fall in love with it, but I did. And then I was very interested in a teaching position, and I came up here by kind of accident, not really looking for a position. And they were interested in hiring me for some reason. And because of my niche, nobody really wanted the lectures that I wanted. So, and a lot of those were geriatric focused, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, those types of ones. And I just said, gimme. So I was very happy to take them.
Yeah, and I have been teaching my whole career. I am actually not a consultant pharmacist, but what I value and appreciate most with ASCP is that it is my professional home because I do interact a lot with seniors in the community.
You always have.
I always
have.
Yeah.
Always have.
So although I am not a consultant pharmacist at a facility, I do a lot in the community with the students, whether it's presentations at councils on aging or senior citizen centers on senior care related topics. So I am just more in the community with the students doing programming. And it's always been senior care focused. And that's really what I've always done. So then when Kelly and I had the opportunity to advise the ASCP chapter in 2014, I mean, it exploded, you know, and we just had all these ideas. And she was the consultant pharmacist. I was not, but I still loved seniors, you know, so we kind of just bridged, and we love the students, we love seniors, and we love ASCP. So it's kind of just like magic. They're coming together. And like I said, now we're, you know, chairing this ASCP work group together. And it's really been a blessing to kind of see this all unfold.
I will say you'll hear us talk about age-friendly pharmacists. You know, the term consultant pharmacist is pretty conflated. Like, average person on the street, if you said, "Oh, I'm a consultant pharmacist," probably doesn't know what that is. But if you say age-friendly pharmacist, then everybody kind of gets it, and it's also inclusive of both of you, of what you both do. You're getting recognized. You do this already, you know, as an age-friendly pharmacist, and you know, to me, that's sort of the beauty of the age-friendly movement, is creating that ability to say what you do in a way that the public instantly gets it. If I was going to say, what is an age-friendly pharmacist, and describe them, I would be describing both of you in some capacity.
And it would be understandable by all.
Right. Yeah. So tell me, like, so you both ended up at Ohio State, but how did you get into that? Like, so Kelly, where'd you grow up, and what got you to even pursue pharmacy? Yeah.
You want to go back there. Well, I actually grew up in a small suburb just outside of Columbus, Grove City.
Oh, I know Grove City. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You might know it as Grove Tucky.
Grove Tucky. That's right.
Yes, when I was younger, but now it's quite the thriving metropolis.
It is.
Yeah. It's quite different than when I grew up. And so I just grew up very in the country. We were very family oriented, and we're just always helping out people. And so I think I grew up helping a lot of people, whether it was neighbors or the older, you know, we would be like, I don't know, helping the older couple down the street, you know, and
that makes sense.
Yeah. It was good Midwest values. Absolutely.
It was. I think it was just like, get out there and, you know, go do it. So that's really where I grew up. And then, you know, I went to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I worked in pharmacy from the time I was in high school.
There it is.
Before I graduated, it was at Kroger Pharmacy. Sorry for the plug. But I didn't realize I wanted to do pharmacy. And so now I see what you're asking. Okay. So I didn't know I wanted to do pharmacy, but I loved talking to people. I loved helping people. I loved helping the team at the pharmacy. We had a really, really great team. And, I think I wasn't really drawn to pharmacy as a career until I shadowed a non-traditional pharmacist. I then went from community, and I worked in the hospital pharmacy as I was going through my undergraduate degree. And my initial path was medical school. And so, but I shadowed this wild woman. She was a NICU pharmacist, and she was very non-traditional in her practice. And then I shadowed her one day, and I was like, oh, I have to do this. Not that I wanted to do NICU, but I didn't realize at the time that I was really drawn to non-traditional practice. And I guess I see what I do as being a little maybe non-traditional, not only with consulting, but also with teaching as well. It's definitely not a mainstay practice. And so I think during my residency of pharmacy school, I was drawn to another non-traditional pathway, which was teaching. So who knows what's next? But I think that's really where my interest lies.
I'll tell you a quick aside before we let Kristen give her origin. I was at the NABP meeting and at the
Yeah.
NASPA meeting, which NASPA is the State Pharmacy Associations.
Yep.
And I tell this story all the time because we do a lot of these podcasts and we get pharmacist origin stories, and so many of them go back to, well, I started working in a pharmacy in high school. And
Right.
whether it was Kroger or a local community pharmacy or even a hospital, we've not allowed high school kids to work in pharmacies in most states in probably a decade. And
Yep.
I just heard this week that there are states that are creating programs or waivers or something that lets high school kids work in pharmacies, which I think is huge because
Yeah.
otherwise
Yeah.
your perception of the pharmacy is from the outside, and it's generally sort of retail community, and it's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
Kids aren't looking at that going, I want to do that someday. But if you work there, then you get that feeling. And then all of a sudden
Yes.
you're like, oh, okay, this
No doubt.
isn't what it looks like from the outside, and this is something I want to do. So I'm happy to hear that. But it just triggered, when you said, I worked at a
did.
Kroger pharmacy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's how that's how I started.
That's
Yeah.
where, I think that's where, and I couldn't believe they were going to let me in. I felt like I was being invited into surgery or something. I was like, oh God, okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. My origin story is probably a lot shorter, but I am from West Virginia. I love the state of West Virginia and miss it dearly. I grew up in the northern panhandle, Weirton, which is right above Wheeling. And I went to pharmacy school at West Virginia University. So all 6 years in Morgantown. And I'll be honest, I always actually envisioned myself as a teacher. So I am not surprised I ended up in academia. I chose pharmacy school because my best friend growing up, both of her mom and dad were pharmacists. So I do not come from a family of pharmacists. My best friend did. And I would love going into Thrift Drug and seeing her dad behind the counter. And he was so nice and would wave to us and talk to us. He stopped what he was doing, always talked to us. And I was like, I want to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I really wanted to be a teacher, right? So during my last year, during my APPEs at WVU, I realized if I really wanted to get into academia at a college of pharmacy, I had to do a residency. So that's what took me from West Virginia to Ohio State, then to Ohio State, to Ohio Northern, and then, the rest is history. So I do feel very blessed that I feel a big connection with teaching, and I always have. And actually, my whole family are teachers. My sister, my aunt, all my cousins, everybody's in education. So it just sort of was a fit for me and how I grew up, but a different fit. And it really did work out.
I mean, it would be an informal study, but I bet if you asked pharmacists if their parents or grandparents were teachers, that you would find an outsized number.
I know.
I agree.
My
Yeah.
wife, both of her parents are teachers. It was almost like
Yeah.
the teachers were like, hey, pharmacy is a teaching profession,
It
regardless
is.
of what
Dad, I
area
say
you
that
work
all
in.
the time.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
what.
You really
You're
have to have
teaching
compassion
patients?
to help
Yeah.
people, compassion that just to help and
Yeah.
advise people, whether that's behind the counter or
You got it.
teaching them.
You're teaching someone. I always say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you're going to teach someone. Yeah.
Right. No, it's awesome. Those are great origin stories. I love it.
And we just
And if you're a
crossed.
pharmacist that doesn't have that compassion, you probably need to work in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe.
They
You'll be
teach
the
too,
best.
Tom. Gosh.
Thank you.
The pharmacists work in the basement. They're not allowed out to talk to people. So
Oh, that's sad.
So what's next? You've had an amazing career. I mean, it seems like you're always innovating and, evolving from blankets to boxing gloves to whatever. So what's next? What is on the horizon as you keep reshaping how we work with our older adults?
I think, which one do you
Yeah,
want to talk about first? Like we could talk about outreach, but
Yeah.
honestly, we are,
I think growing leaders is
Yeah.
a really big passion of ours.
Yes.
Is growing our students to become leaders in the profession.
yes.
And I think that's always been important to Kelly and I.
Yeah.
That we do these fun, innovative outreach programs, right? But we have always tried to shape our students to then become leaders in the profession. So even starting out with, let's share our idea at the state conference, Ohio Pharmacists Association. Let's share our ideas at the national ASCP conference, whether it's a poster, a publication, a presentation. I think that grows leadership so well, to get involved, to stay involved in your state, on a state level, on a national level. And that's always been really important to us. It's just not about like what we're doing in a student group and what speakers we bring in, but what are we doing in the community?
And how are we growing that student?
How are we growing that student, and how are we sharing that information with others? So I do think leadership is really important to us in growing leaders in our students.
I think so
I love that.
too.
If you think back, and again, Chad and I do this a lot, we talk to trailblazers and founding fathers throughout, but there is a very large segment of entrepreneurship mentality with pharmacists, and that goes right in line with the leaders. And as we forge into this world of AI and ECAPs and the geriatric population growing, we're going to need young pharmacists that are wanting to, blaze those trails and to, lead our next generation and lead the future of pharmacy, because long-term care pharmacy already looks quite a bit different now than what it did just 10 years ago.
Right.
So I would imagine with AI and other things like that, 10 years from now, it's going to be significantly different than it is today.
Very much so.
Agree. And I think one thing that we are so also important that we feel very important about is like that personal connection. Kelly and I always, I feel, instill that even with the student ambassadors, like we want that personal connection.
Yes.
We don't want that replaced with email. We want a personal touch there. And
a bot.
We have really tried to bring that into the launch work group, the student ambassador program.
And even in what we do. So any type of networking that we've asked them to do, it's
a personal connection.
Or it's a Zoom. There's no email.
We want that personal connection. And I really think that's how we really stay true to ourselves and
connected as human
connected.
beings.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think for our chapter, there's been a bit of a shift in student engagement over the years. And we've seen it just probably like any practice trend. This is like a student trend. And I think it's what we found through our launch committee is that this is not just an us thing. This is felt by faculty advisors across the nation when we've been talking and collaborating through this opportunity. So I do think this is not going to be a thing that we solve, but I am really looking forward to through this launch and serving as co-chairs, we've connected with many faculty advisors across the nation. And so we're going to be very intentional about staying in touch with them with a phone call and collaborating because, I think there's a lot of untapped potential there. So for us, I think leadership connection through ASCP, I'm looking forward to connecting with these faculty advisors and how can we grow our student groups again.
That's awesome.
Love it.
I have so many ideas right now. Like
I can't wait to share them.
Set your 24-hour clock for the next set of emails that might come out.
Chad, we're on it, and
we're ready.
We
have a lot of ideas too.
Yeah, so we will collaborate and we'll talk with you. But I think it's really important to involve those faculty advisors.
I do
They're
too.
that pulse. They know what's going on in their schools,
and they are also nice. We have talked to so many over the phone.
Yeah,
and they are also nice and so welcoming and so supportive of kind of initiatives that we brought to them through our launch committee. We just sent an email to all of them today. I think I can't wait for everybody to start replying all. So
that's awesome.
I'll give you a preview of one of my emails to you. So we used to do things at ASCP through the foundation called traineeships, and that's probably before your time. I did one, I think, in 2002. But what it was you applied to the foundation and they had maybe 15 slots, and you would have to pay for your travel, but you would travel to a location. I went to Boston and spent a week kind of in an immersive psych hospital called McLean Hospital, which is Harvard's psych hospital. And I got to see all kinds of things related to mental health, and I got to see an electroshock therapy, and I got to see all this different stuff, but we called those traineeships, and they were supported by different companies and industry. but they were an opportunity to get sort of like a mini immersion academic experience with an innovative practice, or, you know, a heavy, you know, specialty, like at the time,
Right.
you know, treating mental health. And I just feel like, man, that I bet, especially new grad pharmacists would be like, if I could go spend a week and learn about Parkinson's and end up seeing how they use boxing in nursing homes and how we care, like, that just seems like a no-brainer to me. Like, plus your enthusiasm and your excitement about pharmacy and what you do is so, you know, it's just, everybody would want to jump in and do that. Be like, I want to go hang out with these ladies for a week and see how they have shaped practice, because it's super important. I mean, the blanket thing is a good example. We should be doing that in all the nursing homes. That's unbelievable to think that, yes, we have a lot of agitation. We spend all this time, you know, tracking the medications we're using and tracking what's going on with somebody's agitation. But something simple and non-pharm like that can make a huge difference. But you know,
that is so true, Chad. And, you know, minus the blankets, we also did music at the nursing home. We had a handful of pharmacy students that did guitar, that sang, that played the piano. Our ASCP chapter bought a keyboard, and we took the keyboard and the speaker, and we bought it with our fundraising money, took that over to Van Crest, and for 1 hour, the students played music. And oh my God, that was magic.
I know.
When the students did that, but you have to students that can play the instruments, right? So there was a time for that, you know?
I think there's many ways to replicate a lot of the outreaches that we've done kind of in this like think tank cooker out somewhere else. And so whether it's, you know, a nursing home, I mean, because consultant pharmacists, you've got deliverables, you've got charts to review, you've got things to do, and so you can't be running around with blankets. But I think there's a way to collaborate and to pull in outside community stakeholders, whether it be a high school, a Girl Scout group, a Boy Scout group, some type of, and then kind of give them a recipe, like a box recipe on how to do some of these things. And I think,
well, there's not a nursing home in this country that would not say yes to a long-term care pharmacy that said, hey, we've hired some students and we're going to send them into your facility, and they're going to be tooled with all of these different options. It doesn't have anything to do with medicine, but it just has to do with doing some things to create engagement for those residents in those nursing homes. From the pharmacy's perspective, it's providing something that, you know, makes them like that pharmacy more, because this is some unique offer. I just can't believe that wouldn't take off like wildfire.
Hey, not just the students. I want to do it now.
Right?
I mean,
I want to do it too. When I go over there and play balloon time or play with blankets or music, or we do a lot of we do art, we do all kinds of stuff. It's good. It's like good, you know, for my mental
the other thing
too.
it reminds me of is we're going to, the people that we went and visited in Poland a few years ago, when we got to see their version of nursing homes and assisted living and pharmacy, the one thing that struck us was they had 5 times the activity space. They had 10 times the number of activities and just things. Like you would say they're just kind of trying everything, but it was all available to the residents of those places. And it just struck you as they've spent a little bit more time thinking about that, as opposed to thinking about how do we institutionally care for this person. It's more, I mean, my favorite picture is a guy rolling cigarettes. And I'm like, here's a guy rolling cigarettes for him and his friends because they like to go out and smoke. And just how, like, in the US, to be like, oh my God, you can't smoke. It smells so bad for you. Like, but I'm like, he's an 85-year-old guy doing something mechanical, doing something that I'm sure alleviates any form of agitation. And okay, so what?
And you know what? It connects him with a piece of his life, his identity, his independence that was prior to being where he's at. So I think other countries, the generational care, and so often we have had international students that have come out to the facility, and I don't have it like documented anywhere, but I can just tell you, they don't see that the seniors as patients. They see them as elders. as
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's interesting. They'll talk about Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, in a very reverent kind of way. And then
Yeah, there's a dignity. There's a dignity
There
to
is.
it.
There is.
There is.
And then you take our students, nothing wrong with our students, but then they say patients. And so
Yeah.
I don't talk about them. They're not my patients.
Right.
They're Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. They're residents of this,
It's their home.
it's their
Some of them
home.
is their
And so we
home.
do talk about behaving as such in somebody else's home.
Yeah.
So
I think there's certainly a lot, and the reason that the Polish ministry was engaging us is there's a lot we can help them with from a pharmacist role and a pharmacy perspective, but there's a lot we can learn from them from a dignity and a end of, I don't want to say end of life like we talk about it, but
Yeah.
Like a
as people get
humanism.
into these nursing facilities, allowing them to be who they are and allowing them to do,
right.
what matters to them
You
from
got
a
it.
form's
Matters,
perspective.
yep.
So.
That is so important.
Well, this has been great. I wish
Unbelievable.
you guys would have brought some energy though to the podcast.
Right?
but
So we'll do better
can't
next
wait-
time.
We appreciate you
I
all
can't wait
so
for the
much.
notes. The notes are going to be, can they do the podcast from now on?
No. We just
You guys are
appreciate, yeah,
amazing.
you're amazing. We appreciate this opportunity. We just are so grateful we were able to share just some of the things that we do with our students over the years. And we're looking so forward to, collaborating more with ASCP in the future and,
Yeah.
with the
Staying
students.
connected.
Staying connected.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so
Columbus
much.
is right
You're
around the
awesome.
corner. So if
Yeah.
someone wants to come meet you guys in person,
There you
then
go.
you're going to be at the Columbus Regional ASCP meeting, which is in
We can't
July.
wait.
Can't wait.
Already registered. Yep.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so
you.
We'll
much.
catch you next
Thank you,
time on
guys.
Our Experience.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.